Hi, hello, hi, and welcome to all our hearts and minds. Thank you again for tuning in. We are here to discuss all things that have been on our hearts and minds, the good and the bad, the concerning and uplifting, or just straight talk. We're your hosts, Kimmy, our passionate heart,
Yeah.
and then there's me, Jeanette, our mind and chronic overthinker. Let's get into it.
Yes.
So we're back, listeners. We had a little bit of break. I was on vacation,
Mm-hmm.
then I was sick. Your girl's been through a little
Through
bit
it.
of a roller coaster, a little
Mm-hmm.
bit of a roller
Mm-hmm.
coaster, but we're back
Back.
again,
Mm-hmm.
and happy to catch up with y'all.
Yes.
Before we even start the episode, let's do a long-awaited check-in and check up.
Yeah, very true. You know what? I can't complain. It's been pretty good.
Mm,
Um, Office has been busy, work's been kind of busy, but it is passing the time. Looking forward to the long weekend that's coming up soon.
mm.
Just getting through, the first month of school and, just getting readjusted to a new schedule of being back at school versus the summertime. And yeah, just planning Thanksgiving that's coming up soon here in Canada. And just glory be to God. That's all I gotta say.
Amen.
Because you know what I'm telling you. But anyhow, how are you doing? How you have some exciting news.
Nothing exciting really. I
Yeah,
mean, I
you went on vacation. That's exciting. Listen, for me.
yeah, yeah, I got yeah, I went to Italy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it was my first time. I was in the southern regions for the most part.
Right.
In first, I was in the most southern part of Italy, also known as the boot of Italy, in a region called Puglia.
Mm.
And I was in a bunch of little towns there, mainly Lecce, and there's a little beach town called Polignano a Mare. And then I met up, two of us met up with another group of girls in Florence, and then we went to Tuscany together. And I was a driver, boy.
Mm-hmm.
Tuscany, whoo, Tuscany, them hills. Just I've been driving since I was 15, so I'm a very fairly confident driver.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But it's a different kind of way because it's kind of like I amount it to like my family in Jamaica lives like my main house family home is in the country.
Mm-hmm.
So when you go up in that area in the country, you have to drive up the hills, up the mountains, kind of like to get
Right?
up to that area. It's no
No
joke. And
joke.
the thing is, at least Italy has good roads. Italy has some good roads. Okay.
I
The
know.
difference I would say is there's not like they don't have a whole heap of bad potholes. Your car won't get destroyed if you're driving up those areas. But it is
Mm-hmm.
similar in that it's very windy. Everywhere you go, you kind of have to drive in these winding roads up a hill, and stuff like that. And so the only thing that I found strange is I was like, well, people just don't honk, like they just
Right?
blind, they're just going around these corners just blind. Like it took a lot out of me not to be like pew, pew. Like
Mm-mm.
I wanted to be busing the Kingston driving so bad to be like
Mm-mm.
to be honking my horn up like every corner because thank God nothing happened. But sometimes it's like
Mm-hmm.
people. I'm like, do y'all know that like anybody could be coming around a corner, like you can't see. Like I take my time
Mm-mm.
around those corners because I'm not trying to, you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, aside from that, Tuscany is very beautiful. It is
Mm-hmm.
like some places you're like, oh, it's overrated. Everybody, you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean. There's everybody
Mm-hmm.
always has something to say. It's like, let me see for myself because I don't know.
Right?
I gotta know for myself what the truth is. It was very, very, very beautiful place, and I'm glad I went. And I definitely, Italy is definitely a place as a country because there's so many different
Mm-hmm.
regions. It's not a massive country, but it's like everywhere. It's like so distinct, like each area is so distinct. Like Milan is
Mm-hmm.
completely different from Florence, and Rome is completely
Mm-hmm.
different from Tuscany. Like so I
Mm-hmm.
feel like every time you go, if you go to different places, you can have a different experience. And I'm just appreciative that I had a really good experience.
Nice.
The weather wasn't so great, but it wasn't terrible either. But I had really wanted to go to the beach
Mm-hmm.
when I was in the Puglia region because that's one of the more warmer regions. But
Mm-hmm.
the weather was not on my side. But I had a good time regardless.
True.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Italy is, off the list. You can check that off the
I could
list.
check it. I've been to Italy. Yeah.
Right? Right? So that's awesome. Glad that you had a nice trip and you made it back. And from the pictures that you did send me, it looked like a beautiful time. So I'm happy for you. I'm happy for you, girl. You get
Thank
to
you,
go to the
girl.
little
Thank you, girl.
Italy. You come back from the Italies, you
Yeah,
know.
I haven't even posted. Like, it's been so hectic. I haven't even posted the pictures on my Instagram.
Hmm.
It's like I need to get it together. But
Yeah, but you jump right back into work,
yeah,
like, you know,
literally. I get
if you had a
yeah,
pause, then maybe you would have,
exactly.
Hmm.
Whew, that's a whole
Hmm.
nother story. But I'm surviving.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
So okay, sounds like we're good. Well, you know what? We're coming back in October, which is spooky season.
Yes.
It's a
Mhm.
big. It's well, two things. It's Canadian Thanksgiving,
Mhm.
which is probably coming up in the next week or two.
That's the only part of October I like. That's it.
Yeah,
That's all.
yeah,
The rest of it, I can live without.
yeah.
I don't
And
like the spookies. I don't.
spooky. I know you're not. She's not. Kim's not a spooky girl, but
No,
I
I'm
as
not.
somebody, I'm a former spooky girl. So even though it's not necessarily my thing
Mm.
right now in this season of my life, it's still I used to be really into Halloween when I was younger. Yeah, so I'm excited. But the only thing I really do to celebrate Halloween now is um
Do you give out the candies?
oh no, I live in a condo. Thank God I don't have to do that.
Oh, well,
I mean,
because some of them,
yeah,
like, they
some
get
condos.
together. Yeah.
Yeah, but they use the fund, like they don't ask the residents for that. They'll
Oh, that's nice.
which I think is good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and they don't
And
have
the
to
end of
come
the
and
day with
actually knock on your door. Like, they
and
could
not
just
even that,
be.
it's just all the weird people nowadays. It's like I think it's better they don't just go and ask the residents to contribute candy because you don't
True,
know
true,
what kind of
true,
bad mind people
true.
are out there. So it's better
Right?
I think they get enough money from our fees like
Mhm.
that funds events and stuff like that. So they probably have a fund that they use it. They usually get it and they
Oh,
host
that's good.
a little something something for the kids in the lobby or something like that. Yeah, and then what I really do like to do is catch up on some scary movies or scary shows or
True.
any type of Halloween themed type of um entertainment that's on television. And so that's really kind of now how I do Halloween is I'll probably watch a couple scary movies here or there to get into the spooky season.
Me, I'm
Um
waiting for November 1st. That's all I gotta tell you.
Kim doesn't like scary movies.
I don't like scary movies. I don't do the Halloween thing. We're not
Mhm.
giving out no candies over here. Sorry. I'm just not. I know it sucks. And that's probably one thing that my daughter is going to say in the future when she's an adult telling the
Yeah.
story. My mom, we never got to go trick or treating. You're damn right. We don't need to. You want candy? I'll go get you some.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think nowadays,
Nah, fam.
and
Not up for it.
especially now in nowadays, it's like you really parents can't.
No, you can't
It's
trust.
tough. It's
It
tough. Like
is.
unless you either have them go out really early and don't get too much, like get a half a
Right?
bag, and
Exactly.
you're getting half a bag because you want to be able to actually inspect the candy. Like back in the day,
Right? I know.
like I
I
remember
know.
back in the day, whew, the hauls I made, we would
Right?
pretend like we're checking candy, ain't checking shit. I'm
Right?
just lucky.
Thank
like,
you.
like
Thank you.
I literally have a whole bag full of candy.
See, I'm not even trying. No, I don't like Halloween, like the demonicness behind
Yeah,
it. I
I
just
know. There's
don't.
some
It just,
a lot of
I'm
religious.
not, and that's the thing is that last year I actually had to take my daughter trick or treating because she said I'm never even gonna have the experience in my life,
Oh.
and she made it so dramatic and everything. So I was like, okay, you can go once and
Hmm.
once only. Don't ask me again. The answer is no.
Hmm.
But we'll try it, right?
Hmm.
Because I try to encourage her to try new things and to
Yeah.
try things, right?
Hmm.
Instead of being so closed off.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
even
She
though,
got you there.
right? Yeah, she sure did. She's too damn smart. But anyhow, she caught me on that. So she got to go last year once, but we're not doing it again. And she
Mm.
understands. And we usually, around this time, I will buy her candy because it's dirt cheap after a certain
Oh
time.
yeah, yeah.
So
After Halloween, they slashed those
it's
prices
about,
at
I
least
would even say, like,
30%.
2 weeks, maybe a week out from
Hmm.
Halloween, they
Hmm.
start
They start.
really reducing the prices, right? So I just buy
Hmm.
her a box. It lasts her a long time. So, Hey, I'm just not up for it. I know it sounds hypocritical because I did go trick or treating right up until I was like 13. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? But my mom still, she never like got me a costume. She never went to the store and like handed out candy. Like she didn't do any of that, right? And so
Hmm.
she allowed me to participate at school. She allowed me to go trick or treating, but it's a different day. You could let your children go
Hmm.
trick or treating, you know? Now it's like you got to think twice. And
Yeah,
so
it's a whole thing. Like as
it
a
is.
parent, you have to be so diligent, not only with making sure you go with your kid or you have some type of trusted other parent that,
Yeah.
will go with
And
your
you have to
kid.
go, like, I feel like you have to go in packs. Like,
Yeah, you have to go in
you
packs. That's
know,
another that's something that, started happening just like even from
hmm
when I was a kid that was really popular to start to go in packs. Yeah, I mean, I
yeah,
get it. I am
yeah.
now that I'm an adult, I get it. Like when I was a kid, my aunt, we lived with my aunt and she was very much in the church and she was like, "Why are you
hmm
sending your kids to da, 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 da?"
hmm
Really, my parents was not. I could be honest. I was stubborn. My parents were not going to stop me from trick or treating. Like, good, nice try.
Right?
That was not going to happen. The kind of the way I was set up, I was like, I'm going, and if you don't
Right?
let me, I'm sneaking out. Like,
Right?
but I get it. And now that I'm older, I can understand that point of
Yeah.
view.
Yeah.
And I think not even just a religious thing. I also think just in terms of safety for kids, it's just
Yeah.
like so. I'm more like I get it now. It's like honestly, you can go walk up the street one time with them and pretend and just buy a bag of candy, like you said,
Yeah,
and they
and
can
I
say,
mean, ultimately, she doesn't miss it because I do that. You know,
yeah, because that's
like
really the
she'll
thing
hear
of
it
it.
at school, and oh, I got this candy, and I got that candy, and oh, this house gave out chips,
Hmm.
and but she'll have chips and she'll have candy. So yeah, and there's quite a few people in her class that don't do the
Yeah.
trick or treating either, and I
Hmm.
find that more and more parents are starting to turn that way. But we've so derailed from where we're supposed to be. We're on trick or treating already up in October. I need Thanksgiving to come first. All I
True.
gotta say is I've been in the store. I just
Hmm.
need to make this public announcement.
Yeah.
Can we have one occasion at a time, please? Please, because okay, you see fall stuff, and then right the next aisle over is Christmas. And I said, but wait, hold on. There's Thanksgiving. They're like, there's Thanksgiving, there's Halloween. Why am
Mm.
I seeing Christmas stuff? Just one holiday at a time. You know what I mean? But this, they like to push these stuff onto consumers early as
Yeah, of
possible,
course. Yeah. Yeah.
right? And but I'm just like, goodness gracious, I'm seeing Santa Claus,
Oh no,
next
that I
to
don't
the
want to see. Now
pumpkin.
that's something I don't want to see right now. Like,
Like,
listen.
I couldn't believe it. I went in Winners and I was like, "Are you for real?" Like, I'm going down an aisle and it's like a bipolar type of aisle. Like, on one end, I have the fall stuff, and then I'm looking at Santa. I was like, "What is going on here? Where did Halloween go?" Like, you know what I mean in terms of consumerism. Like, it's like just anyway. That's
Yeah,
what I
like
mean.
that's a good
I
way
just
you
need
put
to
it.
make that.
Bipolar.
Yeah,
Everybody's
it's
trying
like
to rack up
what
their.
happened here? Like we unfathomable. I just don't understand it. Consumerism is a serious thing out here, and they're trying to make up for time lost during the COVID. But
Oh
yeah.
yeah, that's a
Anyway,
good point.
yeah, no, they are for real, for real. Like it's just like, come on, like, can I just have one? Like, okay, I could understand you have fall stuff and you have Halloween. That's in October. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? But like, huh? Why am I seeing like skeletons and then baby Jesus? Like I just don't understand it. It's just too confusing as a consumer. It's like, can we have Thanksgiving first? Like please relax. But anyhow, that's my rant. It's just I've been seeing it more and more every store I go into, and it's like, what?
Yeah,
Like
and that's kind of
wow.
why I like. I know, like you have a child, and you have to go to the store regularly.
hmm
But honestly, I don't go to the mall or the store unless I need something, a very
hmm
specific, intentional something. Otherwise, I just avoid it. Or if it's something small or minor, I'll Amazon it because, to your point, it's like it just feels like. bombardment, you know?
Yeah, very much so, very much so. And it's like consumerism at its height right here. Like it's just a lot. Like I can't even get my brain wrapped around one occasion and you're telling me about another. Like, huh? And I'll be honest, I started seeing fall stuff in August.
Yeah.
Huh? The summer's not done yet. Like I just like why are they? Yeah, I understand the consumerism side. I get it. Like that's their job,
Hmm.
right? The seasons are coming quicker. I guess I don't know. It just seems strange. It seems
Okay.
very strange. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Anyhow,
you know, it's a time where lots of people have lots of fun, and you know, October is here.
right?
Okay, so sounds like we're doing okay. So let's just jump into the headlines.
Yes.
And first up I had here, there's a couple of stories here that we were away for a couple of weeks and we can't just breeze by them. They're just too big. And the
Right.
first one is the announcement of Kendrick Lamar being the halftime show performer for the Super Bowl next year.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's usually in February. I can't remember. Yeah, I think it's usually in February. So that's a very blackety black halftime
Yeah.
show coming up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um, and personally, I mean, when I first saw the news, I was like, "Oh yeah, that's great! Da 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 da. That's amazing news!" Like, I totally get why he was chosen and everything like that. But then, all the following day, then I saw on social media the
Mm-hmm.
reactions where everybody was
Up
like,
in arms.
a
Jeez.
lot of people were up in arms, I guess we could put it that way, yeah, that Lil Wayne was not chosen. And then I was like, you know what? I didn't think about that, but true. Like,
Mm-hmm.
because he's a very big sports fan. He's always on sports show, like all the
Mm-hmm.
ESPN and all the big sports shows and podcasts. He's very vocal in that world. And there are a couple of clips swirling around where he was like, I think it's even the most recent one where they knew that because they knew the Super Bowl was going to be in New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
Where somebody asked him and he's like, "Oh, I would love for that to be me. It would be like a really special, blah 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 blah."
Mm-hmm.
And that surfaced again too after the announcement.
Yeah.
And he was quiet for a few days
He was
while,
hurt.
yeah,
He was
he
hurt.
was he was quiet for, well, I didn't know because he was quiet for a few days, but everybody, you know, the Young Money crew, like
Mhm.
Nicki,
Drake. Mhm.
what's bald head guy's name again? The bald head
Birdman.
Birdman, and some other folks in his camp were pretty vocal about the
Right.
disappointment. And
Well, Birdman's not in his camp.
no, Birdman, yeah, it's a complicated situation,
It
but you
is.
know, there is a
Yeah.
connection.
Yeah, very much
There,
so.
and just fans as well.
Yeah. Mhm.
Um and that made me think about it, and I'm like, you know what? Me personally, it doesn't matter
Mhm.
because either way I would have been good, right?
Right, right.
But I do. And then, you know, after everybody was up in arms about, like, let's say a few days after he came out and he had his statement and he said, you know, he said he was hurt. He looked hurt. He was like, you
Mhm.
know, he's talking. That's not like how he used to seeing Lil Wayne. So I
Mhm.
could tell it really bothered him. But you know, he said it's my fault for. Oh, I wish I had the quote in front of me, but he said it's his fault for assuming that he, or not, like, setting himself up for the option that he would not get chosen, right? So it's
Mhm.
kind of like sometimes, for some reason in his head, he had high hopes, thinking that he kind of got this in the bag for whatever reason. I don't know what was said behind. I don't know why he had in his head, if there's any promises, but
Well, I think that Lil Wayne, like first I'm just going to put my announcement out there. Like I
yeah,
think that he is an awesome rapper and I think
yeah,
that he's a lyricist and an
mm,
icon.
yeah,
With that said, your time is not right now. I'm sorry. I am going to keep it a buck. There's been many people who have performed not in their home city. Like
yeah, exactly, yeah,
many people, right? Okay. Now, I don't know why they're making a big stink specifically for Lil Wayne. I don't know why, but I know that there's beef behind the scenes between,
mm.
Lil Wayne and Jay Z,
Not
Birdman
necessarily
doesn't like
Lil
Jay
Wayne,
Z.
but his people, right?
Well, yeah. Well, I think Lil Wayne because of his people. But I
Hmm.
don't think Lil Wayne specifically has an
Yeah.
issue with Jay-Z,
Yeah.
but I think it's the fact that he doesn't like his people that he has as artists.
Hmm.
And Lil Wayne does carry weight in the industry, right? And
Hmm.
so with all that said, I don't understand why we can't just be happy for Kendrick. Like I don't
Hmm.
like, why can't we be happy for this new, you know, in terms of the game? Like, he's new to the game. He's still making a name for himself. Like, when you think of a Jay-Z, or when you think of a, like, he's on those levels, but he still has some work to do. And I think that this is a good place for him to put himself on a larger stage, right? Now, with Little Wayne, you are ill. You're sick. You don't perform or have the performance level of a Drake. Maybe
Mm-mm.
not all the way a buck,
Yeah, I don't think that's insulting. It's
right?
just
It's
facts.
not. It's just capability. We're
Hmm.
talking about capability. Now, we know you can rhyme. We know you could put dope raps together. We know all of that. However, can you perform it
Mm.
to the level that we've seen Kendrick perform it? Now, what I will say is Kendrick has actually had a chance to perform at the Super Bowl.
Yeah, he did. Yep.
So I'm kind of like, you could have given it to Lil Wayne,
Well, here's the
you
theory that
know?
people are saying that would be a nice happy medium is if Kendrick were to bring him out,
Mm-hmm.
which is entirely possible. Like I can't rule that out, especially with all the
Mm-hmm.
hoopla that he
Mm-hmm.
doesn't bring him out to do a little one song. I think they've even done a song before
Yeah,
together.
and I
So
could see Kendrick doing that to just because he
mhm.
likes to pay homage, right,
Yeah, for
to
the
the people.
culture. Yeah, he's definitely
Definitely, and so I can see him doing that, especially with all of this buzz. And
yeah.
and then I started to think, is that exactly what they want to do?
Mm.
Create a buzz? Because
Mm.
now people are going to start thinking, like, they're telling us this now, and it's February of next year. Like, how come we're not hearing this, like maybe around Christmas or something? Do you know what I mean? I feel
Mhm.
like they want to create the buzz and have the conversation and start thinking like what I'm just saying. Maybe
Mhm.
they are going to perform together. And now people are going to turn in to see, will Kendrick bring him out?
Mm.
This is a ploy, people. I just figured it out right here on the Hearts and Minds. Okay, I just figured it out. It's a ploy. What it is they put Kendrick. We cause the conflict. See how the fans would like and see. Do they want Little Wayne? Oh, okay. Let's bring him on out.
We'll
Let's bring him
see.
on out.
That's a good. Yeah, it is kind of brilliant.
It is when you think about it, because now people are vexed in these streets, in these in these social media streets. People are vexed. Okay, even Nikki had to go hard for him. Like,
Well, I get it. Like for her on her, like I
I
know
love
people.
the loyalty though. Like,
Yeah.
honestly, Nikki, I'll give you that. You're starting to rub on me, Nikki. You
No,
really are.
but I don't know. She's been Nikki's on one right now. Let's just
She
put it that
is.
way. She's
She
been
is.
on one,
And I think that she's not holding her tongue no more, and she don't give a shit
which
about nobody.
I like
Um,
that. That's a good point. Yeah,
I think she's claiming the throne,
and she should.
and she's like, I've been sitting on this throne right here. Why am I afraid to speak what I gotta
Yeah,
speak?
that's true. But it's so
And Nikki's
crazy.
feisty like that. Like, she's
She
feisty like that.
is. And but it's weird because there's this narrative around her coming as like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, she's unhinged, or
Oh, whatever.
why is she going online and whatever. But it's so funny because it's like, yeah, like 3 or 4 years ago you're saying she's unhinged, but it's like everything she said
You're seeing
has
it.
we're seeing, like, now it's like, yeah, it's like glaringly true, and it's this kind of like, I don't know. It's interesting. Well, we've gone off topic. That's another topic for
Yes.
another day. But
That.
anyway, personally, I hope they do that. Like, to your
Yes, me
point, that
too.
if I think that would be like a
I
great
would turn
moment.
in just to see that. I would.
I think
Mm-hmm.
that, like, either way, like Kendrick is an amazing
He
performer,
is.
so I know it's going to be good regardless. But I think it would be 100 times more amazing if he brought Lil Wayne out to do
That would be sick.
a little
Still.
1-2 thing. You know?
Yeah, that would be sick. Still, I think
Yeah.
so.
But I found what he had said, which I found interesting. He said that It hurt a lot. You know what I'm talking about. It hurt a whole lot. I blame myself for not being mentally prepared for a letdown and for automatically putting myself in that position like somebody told me that was my position. So I blame myself for that. So that's accountability. Yeah, because I was like, why did somebody say something, whisper something in his ear? Why did he think, why did everybody think that was going to happen? Like, you know what I mean? So anyway, he's taking accountability. Chin up, Lil Wayne. That's just a sign. If there's some greatness that you're trying to attain, there's a couple of things you need to do, and I think you still
Right?
have it in you. And this might put fire
I
in you to
think
do
so
that.
too. I think so too. And maybe he just needs the challenge.
Yeah, and here
But
it is.
you gotta get yourself together, Little Wayne. Because I've seen
Yeah,
some of your performances, and I was like,
he's notoriously known not to remember his lyrics because he has so many songs.
mm-hmm.
The man has put so many songs out there, but you should have a set that you can memorize. Like, you
Right?
don't need to remember every song. I think that's crazy because he has a lot of songs.
Yeah,
Like,
he
the
does.
man did put out a lot of shit.
Mm-hmm.
But like, you have 10 songs that you have to perform anytime you perform. Remember those at least,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we'll move on to Cardi B and Offset.
Mm-hmm.
We had last time talked about them when Cardi filed for divorce, and then Cardi had her baby. I think about a month ago, she had that baby, and she's just out in these streets now. And it's real.
Yeah.
The divorce is getting real, and so the divorce. You put your statement, everything is quiet now. All the
Mm-hmm.
dirt is coming
Yeah.
out.
Mm-hmm.
And so the recent thing, and there's a reason why I'm bringing this up. Usually, I don't want to bring up anybody's relationship drama because I'd rather not be in the chat in the first place, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
But since they put us in the chat,
Right?
um,
In the
Car-
chat, in the marriage, geez on peas. Like,
so she must have been on her live, and she was, talking to her fans, and she was rapping a song that seemed pretty real life. Maybe it's on her
mm.
album. It would be great if it's on her album because the lyrics were actually really
It
good.
was,
But
I heard them. I was like, okay, okay, Cardi.
yeah, right. So I'm like, hopefully that's on the album. But anyway, so then, but it was pretty much a snipe
Mm-hmm.
at her husband or her ex cheating
Mm-hmm.
husband. And he came into the chat and said, I guess he's trying to embarrass her.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "You effed with a baby inside. Tell the truth." He wrote that on the live. And then after the live ended and they're going back and forth on Twitter, and then she was like, "And did," basically making it seem like, okay, she's reaffirming whatever it is he
Mm-hmm.
accused her of in the thing. She was saying, and I'm not going to get into everything she said. Pretty much she's
Mm-hmm.
saying that he's lame and all of that. And we all know that
And that he's
already.
coming for her money, and that
Yeah.
that he's still on her jock, and that he's
Yeah,
still trying to
exactly.
get her,
Yeah.
and that she has receipts.
Of course. Of
She had to
course.
bust out the receipts of him begging to have, I guess, phone sex on like live chat. Like, it's
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, it's kind of like, and R. Kelly said it. And listen, hey, at the end of the day, we can't forget R. Kelly, but when a woman's fed up,
Thank you.
I think Cardi's been fed up for a while, but she's one of those women, and it's so funny. They tend to be Libras.
Hmm.
They just put up with a lot of nonsense. They put
Until
up
they
with a
don't.
lot of nonsense. It's like
Until they
they
don't.
they embarrass until they don't. Yeah, they'll embarrass. They get embarrassed. They do this. They do that. They just put up with a lot of shit until they don't. You said it. And so I
Because.
think she's hit her ceiling.
Hmm.
She has hit her ceiling.
Hmm.
Um, that's what it looks like. I think now.
I was friends with a Libra.
Hmm.
She was a girl,
Hmm.
and what I remember the most about her is that she would let a man nearly walk over her,
Mm.
right? Until she didn't. And
Mm.
then when she didn't, it was like, you better stand back. If you love your life, like, just stand back a bit, because she's coming with a vengeance. And she's gonna find that one thing. I don't know how, but she always did find that one thing that would set him crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how, but she very meticulously would learn the guy. And then all of a sudden, when she was done and she washed her hand, it's over. There's
Mm,
no coming back from it. Like when they actually admit and they say, I'm the fool.
mm,
And they say, you know what, I'm really, really done,
mm.
and really, really walk away. That every time I've seen it myself, the man's them don't know what to do with themselves. They don't know what to do. They desperately try to get them back. And I think that's what he's trying to do. He's
Yeah.
just trying to, you know, the phrase wrong and strong.
Yeah.
So he's
Yep.
wrong.
And
He led his family down this road.
right? And the thing is, I hate to say this, but like as somebody who say I've heard, there's a lot of commentary or whatever, but it's something that really stuck with me with the commentary is like when like yes, amigos are massive, they're huge, like
Mm-hmm.
no, hands down, like I'm not gonna take that away from him, right?
No. Mm-hmm.
As a group, Migos are as equally as good big as her. I will say that.
Mm-hmm.
But individually, Offset of all the Migos,
Okay. Say it.
he wasn't even the one. Like he wasn't the one.
Say
If
it.
anything, it
Mm-hmm.
was Quavo.
Thank you. And if it wasn't Quavo's, take off. Thank you.
So it's like you're not even like you
You
know
weren't that guy. You weren't that guy in the group.
until you pick up
Okay.
and you tie down Cardi B, as you said. He say that I put a bait. Then he
Yeah,
that's
he said
another.
I won with his
He
face.
won.
Yeah.
I put
Okay.
babies in you. I won, and not a lot of men will admit that, but a lot of men do that with like certain women.
Yeah.
Like,
He. That last baby was to
mm,
secure the situation in
mm,
his brain.
hmm,
It's kind of sick.
yeah, yeah,
But like I understand that he's losing his family
yeah. You're
and
gonna
he's
do crazy.
grabbing at straws, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
But here's the thing that I must say, Cardi, you need to walk away from this man. And this is when I knew you should
Mm,
walk away from this man.
mm.
Before you guys got married, he was messing around with a girl. That same girl
Yeah,
got you in a problem.
she
You
almost went to
understand?
jail because yep.
You almost did time behind this girl. You understand? And as soon as you get off, he went right back to the same blasted girl.
Yeah, that would be a bitch. I'm sorry.
I,
That
I I'm done.
yeah.
I'm
That
done.
that can't go on. That
Okay,
absolutely can't go
you're
on.
not
Like
taking my freedom. Sorry. You're not taking my freedom. I'm not going to allow you to take my freedom. And Libras are the type of, especially women Libras, they're the type that they're very territorial over their man. And so if that's my man, that's my man. And if you try to step to my man, I understand why she did what she did.
mm,
This girl, she's from New York. Okay. They
mm,
don't play up there. Okay. About their man. But he made her look a fool
many
because
times.
you almost did time behind this girl, and then through that whole thing he could have lost the mother of his children to jail,
Mm.
and you still went back to this heifer.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Like, come on now, Cardi, come on now, you can't be doing that, girl. That's crazy. You got two kids in these streets right here. You can't be letting this man take you. And he sat there and watched you fight for your freedom to turn around and test that said freedom again.
Mm.
Been done with you. Been done with you. But anyway, hopefully she is done with him. And
Yeah.
I never. Here's the thing: is that I never like to see black love split up.
No.
I
But
don't.
this was like this
Right,
was
and
like you
she's not.
said.
I know I don't want to do the race thing right now with her,
Mm,
but she. This is two people that loved each other and that had a marriage
mm,
that have these children. They're gonna grow up without their dad around. You
mm,
know what I'm saying? So I don't ever want to see a family split up like that or a couple split up like that. But I think Cardi was doing it after a while for her kids. And she realized that she can't live. She can't
yeah.
live in a
After a while.
marriage like this for her
Mm,
kids. And it got
no.
to the point where she even said it at one point when she went on live. It kind of went viral a bit where she said, Like I let you play with me
Mm,
because I wanted to keep our family,
yeah.
you know? But then she obviously clicked in and said, that's the only thing out here people can say about me is that I'm with you and your dumb ass. Like out here
Yeah.
cheating on me left, right, and center. So she started, you can see that she's starting to click in her brain, like, is it worth it?
Mm,
Right? And it's not.
it's not.
It's
Because
just
after
not.
a while, it chips at your self esteem.
It was
Yeah,
already. It
yeah,
was.
you
She
can
said
see.
it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
She said it herself. It was a problem. It was obviously. It's obvious, right? And it's like he's not even trying to stop.
That's the problem there. It's a problem
Now he's
anyway,
getting people
but
pregnant and things.
mm,
Like I don't understand these men. Like and on top of that, here you are, you're broke. Between the two of you, she's the one that got the money because she was smart with her money. And
mm-hmm,
you before you just see some suckle yourself a little bit. No. Well, Cardi, girl, you need to move on because what are you teaching them children you have there?
yeah.
You know?
Their dad isn't going anywhere. They're there. They could have that relationship.
Exactly. And she did say he's a good father, so he could be a
Mm,
good father just without you.
yeah, that's fine. Probably even
Until he
better.
got it together. I know that she loves him. Like I could
Yeah,
tell that
you
she
could
really
tell.
loves
Yeah.
him. But in the same breath, girl, love ain't bringing his ass home at night.
Mm.
That's just the truth.
And I
So
think it's really hard with the industry that they're in. Um, like
yeah, but
even
he's the one that pursued her.
he
He
pursued.
pursued marrying her.
Yes, I know. Yes, true. Yeah. So he
Like
should have
he
known
came
he
on
wasn't.
her stage while she was performing and
Yeah, he
proposed.
should have known he wasn't ready for marriage. I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Come on, man. But he saw the bag. Because at
Right?
that time, that's when she was starting to climb. She was
Oh, she
climbing.
was. Yeah. So all of that, but
Anyway,
I hope for the best for them. It's like, but yeah, he is looking really corny right now. Like
yeah,
he's trying to make her look bad. But honestly, I
100% corny. Mm-hmm.
whether she really did that or not,
Yeah.
she can't look bad. Like after what you've done, she
Right?
can't. Like you can't make her look bad. Offset. Sorry, of all
But
people,
I
you.
will say though, Cardi, you should have kept some things to yourself, girl. Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so we'll move on to who
And I
Lord.
don't understand why women do that. Like I don't understand. You go on the damn internet letting out your deepest, darkest secrets to the
No,
damn
but
internet.
I
I
think he
don't
was gonna
understand it.
try. Sometimes like people are trying to hold information on over you too, right? So it's kind of like you kind of I'll beat you to the punch. Don't think you're gonna hold any type of information, hold me hostage with any type of
But
information.
consider the source, Cardi. Consider the source.
Yeah.
He's
So yeah, we're gonna move on to Praz
yes,
and Lauren Hill.
yes.
It's funny. It's kind of I like. I mean, honestly, I'm gonna laugh because Praz. We talked about Praz's situation
Mm-hmm.
on this show. I don't know
Listen.
one week when we don't have an episode, I have to repost it because that was I remember when we talked about that and I was just like, Praz, you're into international espionage, like what the heck? How did this guy go from being the most lead, like the most minor character in the Fugees
Right?
into being like this international spy for like Malaysia or China or whatever?
Beyond
It's like
my understanding.
that
I just
was like bloody crazy.
mm-hmm.
So yes, earlier I would say sometime last week, Praz put a lawsuit for
Mm-hmm.
Lauren Hill against Lauren Hill, sorry,
Mm-hmm.
where he claimed that she mismanaged the Fuji's tour, the one that they're supposed to be a that's I'm laughing. There was supposed to be she had her 25th anniversary, and there is
Mm-hmm.
also the Fuji's tour
Mm-hmm.
coming up for this year. It was supposed to be this year or next year. I don't know. Sometime this year, let's call it.
Mm-hmm.
I think eventually they canceled it, but at least the US one. Anyway, he claims that she mismanaged the Fuji's tour and it was a devious attempt to make a big score for herself.
Hmm.
That's what he's saying. In the lawsuit. In his lawsuit, he claims that Lauren was taking 40% of tour guarantees and net profits while splitting the rest of the 60% with Wyclef and Praz. Um,
Hmm.
his attorneys allege that he made little money from the Fuji's 2023 arena tour since she controlled the budget, which allegedly included unnecessary and most likely fictitious expenses that seemed designed to lose money. So I'm not going to go over everything. I've heard other
Hmm.
points about it. So two, like in addition to these points that I just read out,
Hmm.
another one which I can give him. This is the one point I can give him. Everything else is like,
Hmm.
listen, hey, I'm not gonna. It's his lawsuit, so whatever. I can't say yay or nay. I wasn't involved, but it does. It
Hmm.
sounds fishy to me. But he did also say that, which I found concerning. She would not, or Lauren and her company would not allow him to see the books. So
Mm.
that's the one thing I could say,
Yeah. I
like,
was
that's fair.
thinking.
Like, Lauren, if you're not hiding anything, or if everything's on the up and up, you
Hmm.
shouldn't have to hide your books. But on one hand, it's like, who is you to look at my books too? Like, I
Yeah,
can.
but you're in trouble with espionage, okay, friend?
Right,
So I
pros,
don't
right?
know if I'm handing over books.
Right, like, so there's,
Okay, I don't
like,
know about that.
I tried, that was the one thing I could give him, but then I thought about everything. I was like, I'm not handing over my
I'm not
fucking
handing over not a goddamn
financials to
thing
this
because
guy.
listen, okay.
So that's, in a nutshell, that's it. Essentially, if I were to sum it up, he's saying that Lauren Hill was probably hiding all the money that she was really making, and they only got a
Ugh,
certain percentage, and blah blah blah.
him
Fine,
need the money for the lawyer fees.
right? And he admits that. He admits that in the lawsuit as well, that she took advantage of him because he was vulnerable, because he needed the money, blah blah blah. That's also a part of one of the statements in, or claims in, his lawsuit. So
Yeah,
let's go.
but that
Let's
could be also the rean why there is a lawsuit.
right and all. Well, to me,
So,
my point of view, that's where I'm leaning. But it's so funny. So Lauren was quiet for the first week. Then the
mm-hmm.
following week, when all the press
Yeah,
started,
but
now when all the
right.
the press started, like, picking up the story, and it's now everybody's like, and
Hmm.
everybody's like, a lot of people are, we love Lauren, but there's also all the people who are vexed with Lauren because, her situation, her
Hmm.
being her late problem.
Yes,
Right?
yes.
So people were taking this and running. They're gonna make a joke out of everything. But
Hmm.
I would say her clapback, which I'm gonna
Okay.
read, her clapback, whoo, it was classy. I liked it. I liked it a lot. And it really hit home. It really hit everything that I was feeling
Right?
with the whole situation. So she posted this on her Instagram, and it's so funny because she makes like 7 points, and I think his claim was like 7 to 8 points too. So I don't know. Of course, leave it to her to be poetic about it.
Of
Poetic
course.
justice. So she said some clarity and facts need to be presented. I've been silent and pushing through because I understood that Praz was under duress because his legal battles, and that was perhaps affecting his judgment, state of mind, and character. Fact one. This
No,
ba-
they.
this baseless lawsuit by Praz is full of false claims and unwarranted attacks. It notably omits that he was advanced overpayment for the last tour and
Oh,
has failed to
oh,
repay substantial loans extended by myself as an act of goodwill.
oh. Hmm.
Last year's tour was put together to celebrate the 25th anniversary of the album of the Miseducation of
Oh,
Lauryn
we
Hill.
forgot that part.
It was being planned whether the Fugees were involved or not.
Okay.
Okay, fact two.
Okay.
The tour was
Jesus.
expanded to incorporate the Fugees because I found out that Praz was in trouble and would need money to aid his legal defense.
Espionage. Yes.
Fact three. Fact three.
Okay.
Praz,
Jesus.
listen to this, was what really killed me.
Whew.
Praz was given a $3 million advance for the
Right?
tour. 3 million? Okay. Which he said he required to pay his legal fees. Wyclef and myself deferred our full advances to make sure he had what he needed and was able to go. I covered most of the tour expenses as a majority of the tour advance had gone to Praz. An agreement was put in place to secure the repayment of the money he was advanced. Praz has
Oh,
not paid back the money he was
oh,
advanced and is currently in breach of his agreement.
at
Fact
that.
fact
Conveniently.
4, fact 4,
Oh,
because
oh,
my tour, band, production and setup were already happening, the Fuji set utilized this same production. I absorbed
oh,
most of the expenses myself, produced the show, put
oh.
together the entire set with
Yeah,
Y
we're
Plus.
gonna get the 40%. Sorry,
Right?
Praz.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Put together the entire set with Wyclef's participation for the Fugees and Wyclef set. Praz basically just had to show up and perform.
Oh, so you get
Fact.
it easy. Oh,
Okay.
you left out a lot, Praz. You left out
Mm,
quite a bit.
fact 5. As of the last tour, Praz thanked me for saving his life. I have the
Oh,
receipts.
oh,
Fact
receipts.
6.
I can't with Lauren.
Fact 6.
Ah,
I am not in the
oh,
business of kicking anyone, especially when they're down, which is why I haven't responded to date. It is absolutely disheartening to see Praz in this position, my bandmate and someone I considered a friend. But this leads us to fact 7, which probably should have been fact 1, and she closed it out here.
ooh, ooh, did she
You
come
clear
full
my throat.
circle? Lord
I was
God.
in I was not in Praz's life when he decided to make the unfortunate decision that led to his current legal troubles.
Okay.
I did not advise that he make that decision and therefore am in no way responsible
Thank
for his
you.
decision and its consequences, though
Yes.
I have taken it upon myself to help.
Right.
Despite his attacks, I am still compassionate and hope things work out for him. Respectfully, Miss
God.
Lauren Hill. Lord me God, cleared his ass.
Right
Okay.
up. Just clear it up real good quick in a nice little bowl. Lauren,
Mm-mm.
like this is why you shouldn't mess with genius. You know what I mean? Like she summed you up and put you in check real good.
And
Like
wished you well.
respectfully, remember that and remember here in Canada they love that word respectfully. They're respectfully dissing your ass. And it's true everything that she said and none of it is a lie as we
Mm,
know you have espionage on your back. So
mm,
yeah, I'm not gonna open up my books to you. And yeah, you forgot about that part, the three
mm,
million.
right?
Okay,
That's a lot of money, man, for
for
him to just show up.
well, well, and then you have the gall after you just get to show up. Is she putting it together? She's
Mm,
putting it actually together. So yeah,
actually,
if she was getting 40%, I think she deserves it.
because it's all her shit.
Uh,
Fuck.
uh, Praz, like, let's be real. The last time people business about you was this espionage, yeah? One thing I'll say with Lauren, people check for her. Even though she'll come 2 hours late, people still buying tickets with her. Okay? So, no, yeah, she cleared that up real good. Yeah.
Mm,
Don't play. Because, you know what? And I'm glad that she did because the way that he's trying to attack her,
mm. It's a big
no,
attack, yeah.
fraud? No, you
He's
don't
trying to
do
make her seem
fraud.
like she's money hungry, and
Okay, it's only you in a court for
Lauren
thing.
Hill can put on a concert tour anytime and people will show up, despite, like, you know what I mean?
The 2 hour delay. Okay,
She may not
still
fill up
buying tickets.
arenas. She may not fill up arenas, but she could do a tour of,
Well,
theaters.
the
You know what I
thing is
mean?
that she's going along with Fuji's, right?
That's why.
And people they've wanted to hear from the Fuji's forever, right? But I also think that if Praz doesn't want to be on this tour, okay, we could fill you up. We could fill you up because I'll be honest, Fuji's as a group, they were great. But if
You're
we were to
amazing.
break them down and
Mm.
put them in a ranking, it
Oh,
was Lauren Hill and
mm-hmm.
Wyclef and
Yeah,
you.
then him. Yeah, straight.
So
And
really,
even
they
he should
two,
know that.
yeah, but him forgets. He forget just like he forgot about the 3 million. You understand? So she had to put it in check. Remember? Remember respectfully.
Respectfully. Okay. Okay,
Oh,
quick
I
one. We're
love
not going
you,
to
Lauren
spend too
Hill.
much time on this.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Halle Bailey and Diddy G announced that they're ending their relationship.
Right time.
I mean, yeah, like that's pretty much been the reaction online. It's like, yeah, thank God. Like,
Child or no child, I'm sorry, girl. You shouldn't
Yeah,
have gone there with that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's true.
and it kind of secretly was like, I mean, they're very. We have to remember too. They are very young.
Very
Like
young.
they're
Yeah.
under 20. They're both under 25.
Yeah.
Like it's like
Yeah.
what it's like in a perfect world, yes, but like in 2024, people don't meet in their 20s and stay together for 50 years. Unfortunately, this is like that. Not the culture anymore. It's a nice love story, but it's just that's very rare. And so yeah, they announced it. He posted something on his Instagram or whatever, and everybody thought it was a prank. But I'm like,
Mhm.
why would he like if it was a prank for himself? But I don't think it would be. I don't know. I didn't see it as a prank. I thought it was. I think everybody saw this coming anyway. But
I did
um,
too because you know what? I think she's starting to wake up,
yeah.
Starting to wake up a little bit
I think
more.
also probably without knowing really what it is, I don't think she like he was using that baby as a prop. Like
Yeah.
remember, he's a
Yeah.
YouTuber and he's a streamer. So
Yeah.
he needs content all the time. And what's the best like having a baby is a
Yeah.
like anybody of these YouTube people when they have
I
a baby,
know.
trust me, that baby is gonna be put on blast because it's content. It's new type of
Mhm.
content. And
Mhm.
people like to see babies. Like that's just
Mhm.
it how it is. People like babies. And
But to be
I don't
honest,
think
people would like the baby more if it was with his mom.
right. So I think
Because
she
what I
I
see him doing,
without
I'm
knowing,
almost
I don't
like,
think
can you
she was
be
a big
careful with the
fan.
baby? Like, can you?
Yeah.
Some of the things that I'm seeing him do, I'm like, he's not like quite there yet for that. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, he's not one of the homies. Okay,
Right?
he's your
Yeah.
son.
He's your
So
son.
calm down.
And so I'm pretty sure she wasn't a big fan of that, but I can imagine the argument where he'd be like, "He's my
Hmm.
son too."
Yeah.
So it's like, it's hard to say, but I'm sure there's a bunch of other reasons. But regardless, he
Hmm.
put a statement and
But you know what? Sorry, I just want to interject.
yeah.
So there was a clip, right, of she was at Usher's concert.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, the cherry.
Usher, you need to stop breaking up people's relationships. Okay, because look what happened to Kiki. She went to your concert. Okay, now her man's gone. All right. All right. Well, we don't know about that. We have to keep our eye to the ground with that. But
Yeah,
they
yeah.
caused a conflict.
It
Okay.
caused a big conflict. They broke up
Uh,
for a bit, at
the
least.
clip
At the
that I
very.
saw, the clip DDG, he ripped the thing out of. I
Yeah,
think
I
he was
saw
giving
that.
a grape or a strawberry,
Yeah,
so he
cherry.
ripped that out quick time. He's like, "Give it to me. I'll give it to her." And now they're broken up.
Mm.
Sure, stay away from these couples. Okay, stay away from them. I'm that's two for two.
That's
That's
two
two
for
for
two.
two. So that's all I got to say about that. But anyhow, move on.
Anyhow,
Yeah.
so we'll move
Mhm.
on.
Good
Hallie,
luck,
you'll be
guys.
all right.
Just wait, raise that child right. That's all I got to tell you too.
Yeah.
And hopefully, maybe you guys grow up and you get back together. Who knows?
Who knows? Yeah, I'm not opposed to that.
No, he has a lot of growing up to do, though.
There is some drama in the Trump household, some major drama in the Trump household that
Mm-hmm.
I came across recently that I thought was kind of entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
So Trump's wife, Melania,
Mm-hmm.
Melania, is has written a book.
Mm-hmm.
And
Tired of hush up now.
yeah, right? And the book is called Melania. And so now it's probably going to be released soon. So all the press and some snippets have been released, and
Mm-hmm.
she has a video on her page. And it is directly in opposition. What is unexpected is her unexpected support of abortion rights.
Mm.
So in a snippet published this week, it says okay, so I want to read this. This is what it was really crazy. She said, "Why should anyone other than the woman herself have the power to determine what she does with her own body? A woman's fundamental right is of individual liberty to her own life grants her the authority to terminate her pregnancy if she wishes. Restricting
Mm-hmm.
a woman's right to choose whether to terminate an unwanted pregnancy is the same as denying her control over her own body. I have carried this belief with me throughout my entire adult life." Um,
Wow.
she says that yeah, so and then she says blah 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 blah. And there's another quote from there where I thought was, ooh, really, I wanted to share before I went to. Okay, yeah, this is it. The slogan, "My Body, My Choice," is typically associated with women activists and those who align with pro-choice, with the pro-choice side of the debate. But if you really think about it, "My Body, My Choice" applies to both sides. A woman's right to make an independent decision involving her own body, including the right to choose life, personal freedom. So I'll leave that there.
Mm-hmm.
And it is unequivocally pretty much not really what people are associating with the Trumps right now, right?
Right.
Even though I don't think Trump cares about abortion which way or the other, to be
No, I
honest.
don't
Just
think.
like Trump is not religious, just like he doesn't hold the values of a lot of these people. But
Mm-hmm.
nevertheless, let me not get out of hand. So, following this, he posted on October 1st. Everyone knows I would not support a federal abortion ban under any circumstances and would, in fact, veto it because it is up to the states to decide based on the will of their voters, the will of the
Mm-hmm.
people. Like Ronald Reagan before me, I fully support the three exceptions for rape, incest, and the life of the mother. I do not support the Democrats' radical position of late term abortion, which nobody's saying that. This is like something that
Mm-hmm.
the Republicans have been saying. Like, as an example, in the seventh, eighth, or ninth month, nobody's saying
Yeah, I
that.
never heard any of that.
Nobody's saying that. Or in the case there is any question or in the case there is any question, the possibility of the execution of the baby after birth. He said this. We're going to talk briefly about the debate, Harris Trump debate, but yeah, he said this in the debate and it made no sense.
None.
Execution of the baby after the birth. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Okay, Trump again, just all over the place. But I do think it's good that he said that, the first statement,
Yeah.
because all the fanatics over there, like the laws that they have in these states are not allowing women, regardless of if it's a rape, incest, or the life of the
Mm-hmm.
mother, that
At
right now those
all.
laws
Period.
are not protecting the life of the mother, that's for sure.
Mhm. Yeah, I know. I know.
So anyway, this is like such a complex matter, but I thought it was interesting. Like, wow, she just came out and said it straight point blank.
And so my question to myself is, so what's conversation like over
Right?
dinner? Like,
It's not, well,
holy
you,
snappers.
I mean,
That's a
listen, I
I
saw a
don't think
really
he
good.
ever cared about that issue though. I don't really.
I don't think he cares either way.
No.
He doesn't, but again, he's on the Republic Party, and he has to, like, I don't know, it's like a mess over there. But
It's true.
I
It
want to
is true.
share a funny a funny quote that sorry, comment from this post that I saw. And it's saying, and it's funny because we could tell that Melania can't stand him. Like, you could see all the photos everywhere, all the
Mhm.
public, like, Melania cannot stand whether it's him or the situation. But
Mhm.
this comment is, "Born to be a sugar baby, forced to be the first lady," and that's Melania in a nutshell for
Oh
me.
my
Like, I
goodness.
love that comment. That is literally Melania
So
in a nutshell for me. She did not sign up for this shit.
no, she didn't. And I think now she's gotten where, she's at her wits end with him. Um I think she's at her wits end with him.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I
She's
think maybe
probably
initially
she's
when
trapped because he's
yeah,
in politics. Is like, even if she wants to leave and divorce or whatever, she's like literally being probably pressured to like stay in that situation.
at least until he's,
Yeah.
if he's voted to be the next president. I mean, once the election is done, then you can divorce me. But I think her making that statement it shows a lot. I mean, we could all see it. Like, nobody really wants to be with Donald Trump. Like, I think his first wife, she
Mm.
loved him. And he treated her like crap,
Oh
and
yeah.
every
Yeah.
woman after that was like, okay,
Ivanka.
well,
Yeah.
yeah,
No, Ivana.
I'm
It
in
was
it
Ivana.
for
Hmm.
Ivana, right? So I'm in it for whatever you can get me,
Of course.
and so she's reached her boiling point with him. But I mean, how could you not? You know, how could you not?
Oh, a lot of people think this is a ploy, like a PR spin move to be like, oh no, the Republicans don't do believe in choice, and the Republicans do believe that we should protect, like you can get an abortion if you're raped or there's incest or
Right.
all of this. And I'm like, that's interesting. Well, anyway, either way,
Addressing it but not addressing it.
yeah, because I think she says it on what I will say is like, yes, these people might have a point, but she is very clear. She's not, to me, the what I've read in the
Hmm.
snippet, it's very clear. Like she's
Hmm.
not into no incest. If you want an abortion, bitch, get an abortion. That's
Right. What she
it's
said was she didn't mince any
she
words.
didn't mince, and I'm like surprised. Like that's why I'm surprised. The detail that she went into, it's very clear that this isn't no
Yeah.
wishy
Where she
washy exception
stands.
where
Yeah.
she stands. Trump, on the other hand, well, yeah, okay, that's a PR spin move, sure, because he's
Of
like,
course. Of course.
Anyway, that was interesting. That was something
Hmm.
interesting. So we're
Hmm.
gonna finish our headlines with the debate, the presidential debate. We didn't record. I think I just wanted to touch on it because it's such
Hmm.
a big deal. The VPs had their debate, but no, there was nothing really
Yeah, I felt like they
interesting out
said
of
a whole lot of nothing.
nothing. Yeah, nobody, even the press didn't really like, to be honest. Yeah, even the coverage was pretty minimal on that. So the couple of highlights. Kamala Harris came out and said, he said, nice to see you, have fun, some interesting. um hey, you gotta, at least you start on a good note, positive note.
He's trying.
I feel like if she wasn't a Democrat and running against him, he'd be hitting on Kamala. Like he looks like
A
he
hundred percent.
actually likes
Hundred
he
percent.
likes Kamala. He actually, like, you
Yeah.
could actually tell he actually likes Kamala.
Yeah. Like that would be his type. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hundred
like
percent. Mm-hmm.
um when Vice President Harris was talking about some of his trials and some of the way that he handled COVID-19 the pandemic, he tried to interrupt her, and she was like, I'm talking now. And then also another thing that everybody was talking about when she was talking about uh poked fun of his rallies. People start leaving his rallies early out of exhaustion and boredom. And then Trump hit back and said, people don't go to her rallies. There's no reason to go. But then that's where she cut him with the, I'm talking now. Um,
Okay.
right? And yeah, he fell for
You're
that because
talking, but
she,
you ain't saying shit. Like, oh my.
yeah. No,
That's
but
what I
she,
got from her. Was absolutely
y-
nothing.
yeah. Um, so yeah, that was one of the things, but all the traps that she laid for him, he fell into, like that, her talking about his rallies, he fell into that and got riled up and started going on a tangent, and like he
Mm-hmm.
didn't make a lot of sense. A lot of the
Mm-hmm.
debate to me, that's when he was talking about the babies, the not like being aborted after 9 months. I don't know if it's because he didn't prepare. I felt like he was kind of lost in the sauce. Like I'm sure in his mind he knew what he, I guess, wanted to
How do
say,
you?
but
Okay. Mm-hmm.
mhm.
Yeah, but he said a whole lot of nothing.
Yeah, and
You
that's
know,
typical. But I think what was different is like that's typical for him to say nothing at the end. Like if you really
yeah.
analyze, but I
Right.
also, it also felt like he was like he didn't make sense. Like literally the words coming out of his mouth did not make sense. It's one thing for you to talk a lot and make sentences, and like we decide as a listener, like he's not really saying anything,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
he
Mm-hmm.
actually sounded like senile. Like what the like are you, like it was
Ugh.
crazy. Like it sounded crazy. And then the other big thing was the eating dogs, the Haitian thing. There was a lot of
Yeah.
backlash that came out of that, where he accused Haitians of eating dogs
Yeah, he needs to
in
watch his mouth, and
in
I think that's what
Springfield,
he's trying to
Ohio,
do.
and it's being turned into a whole thing over there. The
Rightfully
fact,
so. I mean, you can't just call up like he loves to race bait. Like, and I can't stand that about him. Like when COVID came about, he tried to do the same thing.
mhm,
Instead of focusing what needed to be done, you were focusing on things that were so insignificant. Like,
mhm,
segregating a whole population of people. Like, come on, man. And he's doing it again.
mhm,
And I feel like it's
It's a tactic.
It's a tactic and it's a dog call. Like it's a call for all of
Yeah,
those
right. A
people
dog
who,
whistle.
yeah, a
Yeah.
whistle, sorry. That, all those people that side with him, he wants them to what, make us think for Haitian people? Like I just don't understand why he had to do that. And I think you need to focus on your campaign. I think that's what we should be focusing on, and not so much making those type of public statements. He likes to make statements that are really, like, they are really divisive and they can cause a lot of problems,
Mm.
because it is a dog whistle for the people in Ohio that,
Right.
just can't stand the fact that they're seeing this much Haitian people around them,
And if you see the news after, like the
you
couple
know.
weeks after, yeah,
Mhm.
that's what it turned into. It was pretty.
Exactly. And it's him. It's
Yeah.
his fault. So maybe he's trying to be extra careful. And yeah. I
Um.
just feel like that it's a joke, and the whole, presidency and all of this in the United
Mm,
States is a joke. It's a joke.
yeah.
At
Yeah.
this point, I have heard less about how to make the US better and
Mm.
more about Kamala Harris's background and
Right. That's another thing that. Yeah.
what's going on in Trump's household. Like, I've heard so much stuff that really should not affect the American people, but it will, because that's where we're focused.
Mm,
And not we as Canadians, but that's where
yeah.
their focus is being drawn to, to
Yeah.
nonsense.
Nonsense. Yep. I
But anyway.
agree.
Mhm.
But I think in all, to wrap it
Mhm.
up,
Mhm.
I think she held her own, and she had him. Um, I don't think he prepared regardless,
Mhm.
but I think it was worse that, like, she literally had certain traps set for him and he fell into every one.
Yeah.
So it was even on Fox News, it was pretty much saying that, like, Harris kind of got it over on him and that Trump seemed unprepared. And this is not somebody, Trump, that you can be unprepared with.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I don't
That's
think there's
true.
going to be another one. I don't think there's going to be another debate before the election. So that is the one and only presidential debate that we're going to get before people go to the polls.
And
Um,
the options
yeah,
are really scarce. Like,
yeah.
Jesus, the options that you guys have, it's like Tweedledee and Tweedledum over here. Like, I'm
Hmm.
sorry. I'm gonna be real about that. But anyhow, I do hope that something changes in, the run for presidency. I don't know. Good luck. That's all I got to give you guys right now. But we're gonna move on and wrap that part of the show up and go into the call out. We haven't had a call out in a very long time. And
Hmm.
this is, we're going to try to keep this one light. At least my question, I think, is kind of light. But the
Hmm.
questions that we ask each other, we do actually have to answer. And so we both take turns asking a question. And I'm going to go first because I think mine is nice and sweet and just, So my question is, what activity instantly calms you? For me,
Hmm.
coloring.
Okay.
If I color, like I'm actually focused on coloring,
Yeah.
it very much calms my nerve. It
Hmm.
does. It calms me down. It makes me almost like tranquil,
Okay.
Yeah, so for me, coloring. What about you?
Okay. I would say I have a playlist literally designed to calm my nerves.
Okay.
So actually, I usually have like these. It's very heavily curated, but generally, I would say, like, if I listen to some nature stuff, like
Mhm.
water or forest or stuff like that,
Mhm.
like when I
Mhm.
put that on and I'm really stressed, I could
Right.
literally feel my body like loosen up a little bit,
Yep. Yep. Yep.
and then like walking.
True.
Yeah.
True. Yes, or listening to the water. Like if you're
Yeah,
by
like I
a
usually
beach.
have that a part
Yeah.
of that. My
Yeah.
playlist, I have all the sounds.
Yes. Yes. Well, that was my question. What's yours?
Yeah, I actually went into a lighter direction. It wasn't going to be light at first, but then I was like, let me spin the block on this one.
Right?
So I was gonna say, what is your favorite show led by a comedian?
Oh,
So you could think of like Roseanne, Jamie Foxx, Seinfeld, Home Improvement,
oh,
like led by like where it was a comedian kind of like leading the show. I
Martin.
can go with mine. Well, it's hard, but it's like it's hard, but it's not hard because it really it's between Seinfeld and Martin, but it has to be Martin.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Mm-hmm. All the way. I'm gonna say Martin. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But you know what? Actually, Martin and In Living Color.
Yeah, I was gonna say yeah, because in Living Color was like yeah, it's still a show. Yeah, I didn't say it needs to be a sitcom. Yeah, so yeah, Living Color had was led by.
Right?
Did you watch the Did you watch Marlon Wayne's interview with Club Shay Shay on Club
I
Shay Shay?
did, and he is so funny. Marlon, like he had me cracking up. This man is jokes. He is jokes for days. But you know what was interesting in that interview was
Mhm.
that it was their family that actually started the Super Bowl halftime.
Yeah, that was yeah. That's huge.
I was like, "What?"
Because
They're
I
like,
thought they were been doing that for the Super Bowl for like
"No."
40 years, but it was just 30 years around in the 90s.
I couldn't believe it. I was like, "Really?" So it was purely because they got the attention on In Living Color during
Hmm.
that halftime show.
And then they got Michael Jackson, and
Yep, the
ain't
biggest
nobody
star
turning
in the
away from
world at
Michael
the
Jackson.
time. Like, come on now. That wasn't fair. But, you know, yeah, no, I did watch it, and he is
Mhm.
hilarious.
Yeah.
He's
So
very
good
hilarious.
choice.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, well, you know what? That was nice and sweet and cute and nice. And
Mhm.
we'll just move on into the workout because this is going to be heavy lifting, people. It's going to be heavy. So I'm glad that we got, kept it kind of light for the call out. So let's go on into the workout. Yes, this is where we work out our hearts and exercise our mental fitness in a deep dive discussion. Now, this discussion, geez, and it's deep, yes, but we're not going to go too deep in it. So, I mean, if you're living under a rock, you heard about this. Okay? You had to have heard about this, even under the rock. Well, Diddy. Okay. So we know all of what's going on with Diddy and all of the heinous stuff that he has done. And I don't want to necessarily focus on that part so much. But I do want to say my heart and prayers go out to all of the victims.
Mm.
Um, you are going to see justice. So get your popcorn ready because it's going to be a rabbit hole. Okay. And so Diddy has been arrested, people. This man is in jail. Thank goodness, without bail. And he
Mm-hmm.
is in one of the toughest jails, nastiest jails that they have in the United States of America, which is
Mm.
great. That's where he should be. Now, what they're charging Diddy with. Lord Jesus, what aren't they charging him with? I think it would be a shorter list at this point. But we have now come to find out that the list of victims has is well over 150 victims, and in counting. We have hotlines going, you know, um
Yep.
Diddy is done. He's done. And let's discuss why he's done. Why he's done and how come we really believe that this man will not make it out of that jail.
Oh
He won't. He
no,
will
I don't.
not make it out of that jail. And so from what I've been seeing, they're getting him more on the RICO charges,
Oh yeah,
right? The RICO is what's going to stick,
that's why he's arrested.
right? And now, there's a variety of crimes that they are also trying to attach to him. But it's the RICO that really got him in jail.
Mm.
And the trafficking, the sex trafficking. They're proving slowly that Diddy was a part of a bigger empire of trafficking minors, trafficking people, women, men. Diddy's not coming out of that jail alive. There's no way in hell. The type of people that he's been playing with, that he
Mm.
has information on, he might the only way he's gonna come out is in a box.
Yeah.
That's it, that's all. But it's I'm glad that he's gonna have his day. And I think Diddy is gonna, if he does get a trial, if he makes it to trial, um, because I am very skeptical that he'll even make it to trial. Because the bigger heads that he has blackmailed and has information on and um, tapes on, that I
Hmm.
don't know if they'll allow him to live to trial. I find a lot of things funny about how this has all happened. Diddy had the same judge up until the point right now where he
Hmm.
was asking for bond. Okay? How come we're switching up the judge all of a sudden? Thought it was
Hmm.
kind of funny. I was
Hmm.
like, okay, raiding his house. They raided his house not to just collect information,
Hmm.
but to have access to said information
Yeah.
so that they can control what's going on and the blackmail that Diddy probably tried to do right up until recent.
Hmm.
But
Right.
he has no backing anymore because all of the what he had is receipts are in the hands of the feds.
Right.
Okay, strike number 2. All right, so now we're in the jail. Okay, now we're in the jail, and Diddy is complaining, and he's doing this, that, and the third, and he's also said that he wants to take the stand,
That's crazy.
even though his lawyer has advised him adamantly not to take the stand. But why, Diddy? Why you want to take the stand? Well, if you listen to Diddy back in the day, in a lot of his songs, he says, "I'm gonna take you down with me." Okay, and I believe that's exactly what he wants to do. And I believe that the only reason why he wants to have his day in court is because he wants to start railing off the names. And I think that
Mm.
was the stupidest mistake that him and his lawyer could possibly have publicized. Because now
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
people
because
who
now there's a real
they know
target.
you're gonna talk.
Epstein. That's all I gotta say.
Okay? They know you're gonna talk. They know because you are gonna have your day in court to make sure you talk. Because if you were smart, you would listen to your lawyer, even though your lawyer, he's out here cloud chasing. Okay, he's out here doing all sorts of, I don't know what the hell this man's doing. He's gonna get paid either which way.
Mm.
However, I mean, do you have to make it like so obvious that you're not doing your job properly? For real? So I think that he knows what's really good. And I think he wants to take a lot of people down with him. And a lot of people are very scared. Ashton Kutcher. Uh-huh. Yeah, everybody's really afraid, and they're throwing around big, big names in the industry, and we're not, if we see him go to trial, we will hear him, he will start singing like a canary.
Mm.
Not that it will help him,
No,
not in the sense where you still will
he's
have
going to
time.
jail. He's going
You're
to be in
still
jail
right,
regardless.
but everybody's gonna come with him.
Mm.
He wants to have the Diddy party in the jail. Okay, that's what he's about right now. He's trying to have his Diddy parties in the jail. Okay, bring everybody down with him. But what is interesting is who will be associated to the RICO acts of his crimes,
Yeah, that's what I'm. That's what I'm waiting for in the trial.
right? And I'm hearing that, there's a lot of names being thrown around, like Jay-Z.
I know, but it's like anybody said anybody you could throw around anybody's name who's famous and who's been in hip hop, to be honest, because he hosted so many parties. Everybody in the industry was at his parties, right? So it's kind of annoying. It's almost kind of like why I didn't even want to talk about this Diddy stuff until he actually got convicted, because it's like we could throw around so much stuff and probably there's some truth in it too. I don't doubt that there's truth in it, but like give me the receipts because we can make up stories about any and everybody.
Well, and that's the truth, right? And the likelihood of the people that are being called out being associated to those parties, they probably did go to those parties.
Yeah,
Okay, they're
because
probably
there's a parties, there's the industry parties,
right.
and there's the freak offs.
There's right that followed after the parties, right?
Right. Yeah.
So it's 1:30.
Yeah.
You better find your ass out this party at 1:30.
Yeah, and pretty much. And it's so funny because that's the running joke with everybody asking the people who are known to be go to his parties, because literally everybody in the music, especially hip hop culture, but even the broader music industry went to his parties. Like,
Hmm.
oh, do you want to do these parties? How was it? It's like, I
Right?
left before the clothes came off. Like, that's what
Right?
everybody's,
Yep.
but yeah.
Yep. Well,
Anyway.
with RICO charges, it's funny how RICO charges over the last, I'd say, 5, maybe 6 years has put a lot of people in jail.
Yeah. Oh, that's been getting a lot of hip hop artists out, right?
Right? A lot of people have been going to jail because these RICO charges, and RICO charges is not something to play with. Ask 50 Cent. He'll tell you any day of the week. I don't play with RICO. I don't bang bang. I don't gang bang. Okay? He'll tell you straight. And by the way, 50, you steady have your foot on Diddy's neck, okay? Like 50, I must say, you have little quirks about you I don't like. However, for the most part, you stay on Diddy's neck. Like you're not coming off of his neck and you're making a pretty penny off of it too. And Diddy is gonna learn who he shouldn't have fucked with. Like he's gonna learn. He's gonna learn today while he's in the jail. And they have him secluded.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, have I like is it cluing in? Is anybody seeing the easy access? He's secluded. He's already saying to people he's taking the stand.
Mm.
He's not gonna make it to trial, people. I'm telling you,
Yeah, the patterns are looking concerning. Yeah,
right? I'm telling you. Diddy made the biggest mistake by saying he was going on the stand. He should have kept his mouth shut
yeah. That he should not. They should not have made that public.
at all because there's a lot of people that are sweating bullets right now. Even like I
Mm.
said, Ashton Kutcher made a statement and said, is he gonna try to take us all down with him? I'm paraphrasing, but that was
Yeah.
basically what he was saying.
Hmm.
What I find so interesting about all that has come out with Diddy is how much it was in our face.
Mm.
It's like I feel like the devil was playing on our face and we were standing there watching him.
Hmm.
Because if you listen to some of the lyrics and in the music that Diddy was a part of, he said it. If you listen to some of the interviews that he had, even with people like Ashton Kutcher, like how do we even get there where Diddy and Ashton Kutcher are friends?
Mm.
But they were saying it to us,
Hmm.
but we didn't understand. We didn't get it. So it went right over our heads. But now I see he is associated to so much nefarious crimes. Like, it's not even, I'm going to be honest, and I'm not victim shaming at all. But what's going to put his ass in jail is not him beating up Cassie,
Nope.
is not him pimping out girls.
Mm-mm.
None of that is actually going to be the cause of why this man goes down. Right. But what's fascinating is that we see that Diddy is just a link.
Oh.
He's just a link in a very long chain.
Mm. Yeah, you said it.
He is he was a powerful link. He was strong, but he was still a link in a very long chain. And now the chain has been broken because I think Diddy got sloppy.
Oh yeah, he was a mess. Like he,
you know
like the fact that he had all this stuff after everything that went down, it was like this guy's like a joker.
And what do you think about these RICO charges, Jeanette? Like, honestly, what do you think is going to really? Do you think the RICO charges are is what going to be taken out?
Mm, based on the statement when they unsealed the documents, or
Mm-hmm.
they unsealed the federal indictment documents,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and the guy was kind of reading some of the stuff they found. They showed pictures outside of like the gratuitous, like the baby oil and the lube.
Mm-hmm.
They found like heavy duty guns.
Yeah, and
They
drugs.
found and drugs. So it's like you said,
And like the type of drugs that are not ketamine,
yeah, like that stuff. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that's
and
a horse tranquilizer.
yeah, and as people use it as a recreational drug now
I
too, but
Right, but that's not like that's not like a street drug, is it?
nowadays it is. Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
anyhow.
That's what Matthew Perry died of. But they also use it in the mental illness field as like a treatment for depression. So it's like fairly easy to come by.
Right.
If you probably have the right connection. But either way, like you said, yes, lots of drugs and date rape drugs and stuff like that, right? But the guns and everything, that's where you said the RICO. That's where the RICO comes in.
Mhm.
But I think they have enough evidence with Cassie's lawsuit alone, which if you read the actual indictment, a lot of the things that they have on the sex trafficking is repeating what she said in her
Right.
lawsuit.
Yeah.
So I know they have other people, but I think they're using a lot for the federal case. They're using a lot of her testimony, particularly for the sex trafficking.
Mhm. Mhm.
Like you said, they're building a whole. I mean, there's just so much going on with Diddy, but like you said, there's the New York state of New York
Mhm.
where they're getting the lawsuits. Those are just lawsuits. He can't go to jail for a lawsuit.
Mhm.
But the federal case now, the sex trafficking and the RICO, I think they have enough to at least get him RICO. I don't know, but for the sex trafficking, 100%.
Right?
100% he's going down for um sex trafficking. Like we see another RICO case that's going on right now with Young
Mhm.
Thug, and that
Mhm.
looks like it's going to go out in a mistrial because it's a mess.
Right.
Rico is a little bit harder to prove unless you
Mhm.
have obviously, but I think they'll be able to do it because he screwed over a lot of his artists.
Yeah.
And so I think there will be people.
Well, I'm not just going to say artist. I'm going to say anybody that was employed with him.
Yeah, anybody in his business. You're right. Let's put it that way. Anybody who's employed or did business with Diddy, he looks like he screwed over a lot of folks.
Lot
So
of
I
people.
think because he screwed over so much people, that they'll be able to build a case. Right now, I don't see enough from what I understand,
Mhm.
but I'm sure they'll be able to build it. And people will be willing to step up because they got screwed over by Diddy. So I
Yeah.
think, like to your point, I agree. I think he's not gonna get out of jail. I think
No.
he's done. Diddy is really done this time. He is
Yes.
really it's for
Yes.
real. He's done. I don't feel
And
sorry for him. Everybody's
there is
trying to
no
bring out
defense. There's no
there's no
defense.
defense. And you said he's a link in a long chain, and I
Yes.
agree. And a lot of people, but just because he's a link in a long chain and the other part of the chain isn't been caught yet, they listen, this is a way for them to get caught because
Mhm.
there's a lot of like people like Dr. Umar and some other people in the industry saying,
Mhm.
"Oh, they just did this because he's black," and it doesn't matter if he's black. He was harming people. I don't
Yeah.
care if he's black because he's black, but if anything, I would hope what comes out of this, and I do hope he sings like a canary, and
Yeah.
he does mention all those other
Yes.
rich,
Me
white,
too.
powerful men who were a part
That's
of the whole
right.
thing. I don't
Mhm.
think he got into this alone. I think he was connected to people, and as his power rose, he's doing shit that he saw the rich people do, whether rich white businessmen.
Exactly.
If you think about Clive Davis, he's known
Clive.
for
I
being
was just gonna
weird.
say Clive.
Even people were talking about
Yeah.
Andre Harrell was Diddy's
Mentor.
mentor. Like what the fuck was he up to?
Mhm. Well, what kind of
All of this,
mentoring?
like it's a
Mentoring.
like you know what I mean? So
Mhm.
I think it's a cycle of nonsense, and he, like you said, he's a link of a long chain.
Yeah.
And what
And
I do,
what we know about the link of a long chain, right? Like if you actually think of a chain,
mhm,
there's the clasp,
yeah.
right? Which is the most important part of the chain because it makes it into a chain. So we need to reach the clasp. We need to reach the head. We need to reach
Who's
the
holding on to the blood
who's at
clot
the top of
chain?
this?
Who's holding the chain?
Who, right?
Yeah,
Who's at,
that's that.
right? And I feel like Diddy might just be the link in the chain that will break
Mm-hmm.
and will because once a chain breaks, everything starts falling apart.
Yes,
And I think that all he needs to do is take that stand. He needs to make it to take that stand. And
if he lives, yeah.
if he lives, But the simple fact that he's been secluded, then they're putting
Mm,
him on suicide watch, air
mm,
quotes. And I say
mm.
that because you could put someone on suicide watch, but that doesn't necessarily mean they commit the suicide
Exactly.
because they're secluded,
Yeah. Well,
right?
we already saw that happen with Epstein,
All
right?
right. Okay. So we just need him to make it to trial
Yeah.
so that we can hear of all of those people that are part of this chain and bring the chain down. Because really, that's what needs to happen.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it again because it's true. Cat at the top of the year, okay?
Mm-mm.
He said, and I quote, all you big dick deviants, okay, will be exposed. And there's another part of I've watched that interview again. Like it
Mm,
is Shannon. That is the best interview I've seen in a very long time. I've watched it repeatedly. And Cat Williams said, he said, there's the good side and the other side. And we
mm,
don't care nothing about the other side.
mm,
And this is exactly that. The other side is it's so exposed. And to just know how many people have been complacent with this,
mm.
how
That's the
many
thing.
people who have helped this. And what I wanted to mention before we wrap up the show was that, okay, so there's like several lawyers that are involved,
Yeah, he
right?
just got two new lawyers. Yeah.
There's two new lawyers, one that has 120, another lawyer has 65. There was another lawsuit by this young girl, not young, well, she's not young now, but at the time she was young. I think she's Indian. And she's with a female lawyer, very prominent lawyer. She helped with Black China, Black China's lawyer. That's the same lawyer. There's another case. So we're up to at least 170 and counting. So one of the lawyers that has the 120 victims, now, he doesn't play games. In terms of the business, he doesn't play games. He has to be sure before he's calling out 120 people. There's a hotline.
Hmm.
There is an active hotline for Diddy. Just let that sink in. There's a hotline for one man. Are you kidding me? That one man was able to orchestrate, had bodyguards, had chefs, had maids, had staff, had other employees, other singers, complacent in what he was doing.
Hmm.
Could you imagine how one man can have that type of power? That's crazy. And so my question now is, if he had that, do you think he still has that power?
No, because everybody's scared to touch him. Everybody is scared to touch him because now that at the end of the day, the tapes, some of the ways that he control people are these sex tapes.
Mm-hmm.
So he don't own those sex tapes anymore. He might
But
have them laying around other places,
right,
but
but the reason why I asked this
mm,
is because I'm starting to think Diddy still has a lot of power.
mm,
Because all these people that were complacent in his acts are shitting bricks.
oh yeah, for sure.
Because they're afraid he might open. Because, okay, in terms of the law, they're not going to come and tell you all the names yet.
No.
They're going to wait till they go to trial. And like we were discussing before, he might not go to trial for a while.
Hmm.
And all of these people are sitting on bricks. They're like, oh, Jesus.
Yeah, yeah.
Is he going to say me today? Is my name going to be in the news now? Is there going to be a video that leaks about me?
Mm-hmm.
Is there going to be a press conference that releases my name?
Mm,
Because the lawyer that has the 120 victims said in his press conference, we're coming for everybody.
mm,
We're not just going for Diddy. Oh, you thought we were just going after Diddy? Oh, no, no, no. We're going after hotels. We're going after security companies. We're going after alcohol stores, we're they're literally going after everybody that had
Mm-hmm.
any sort of something to do. He said if you were employed and knew about it and did nothing, if you were there, if you helped, if you were a part of everything, any part of this. So one of
That I'm not mad at. That I'm
and
not
as
mad at.
they should, right? So
Mm-hmm.
when I asked, does he have power still? Well, yeah.
Yeah, he was act just before they arrested him. He was actively threatening the other girl from Diddy Dirty Money
Okay.
because after Dawn Richard had her case, and then the girl Kalina
Mm-hmm.
came out a week later. Oh, I don't know nothing about this and da 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 da.
Right.
I was like, it seemed. I was like, okay, like because
Right.
maybe she just wants to stay away from the drama. But then it found out after he got arrested, they found like over 50 messages
See.
and calls. He was ringing down that girl's phone like hell. So
Okay.
she was coerced, and that's to your point about the power. He
I
had the
mean,
power to get somebody else to try and vouch for him.
this is what I'm saying, right? And okay, the reason why I brought that up is because there was a security guard that he had, Gene Deal.
I can't stand
I
him.
can't stand this man. Okay, because the last interview that I saw, I forget the interviewer, something art of conversation or
Art of dialogue.
art of dialogue.
Yeah.
Right. So that last interview, this guy was going on anybody's platform that would listen to him, and he was telling story after story after story, and he was saying, I was there when Misa had to go underneath the car because Didi was beating her up. I was
Mm,
there. I knew what bottles to drink and what bottles not to drink. I was,
mm.
yeah,
So he's
that's
another one
called
who.
aiding and abetting, dummy.
He hit his ass. I feel sorry. He's probably shitting bricks.
Yeah, you can see in that last interview because all of a sudden, now he's caping. If you see
Mm,
the interview, it's disgusting because you're next.
mm.
You're one of those people that lawyer is coming for
Yep.
because he had a security company and was employed by Diddy. So that's two strikes.
Damn,
And
his company
supposedly
was
he was
involved. Yeah.
was it a parole officer, or
Mm,
he was some sort, or a police officer or something like that, or
mm,
worked in a jail, or he had some sort of legal enforcement behind him, and
mm.
so that's why he was a security guard.
Yeah.
And so now he's backtracking and pussy popping. Now all of a sudden he's talking about, well, they can't possibly have a hotline for Diddy. Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, yeah, they do. That's
they
already.
do. And
It's already.
he had him call, the interviewer had him call while they were in their interview. Call
Mm,
it. You don't believe it? Here. He's like, where'd
mm.
you get this number from? How you don't know where the number's from? You've been on Diddy's back this whole time, but all of a sudden
You.
we don't know that there was a press conference for real. He's like, there's no way, there's no amount of sex in the world for 120 victims. Excuse me? This has been a 30-year thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? If we just average 10 a month, okay? He's well over 120 by now.
Mm,
So like miss me with it. So now you can see that all these people that were complacent, they are so scared.
mm,
So Diddy's reign is still very reigning. He's
mm,
still very much in control
mm.
because people are so scared that if he takes the stand, what he'll say. If these tapes are actually, they're not going to drop the information that are on these tapes until there's an actual trial,
Yeah.
right? They're not going to do that. And so they, along with Diddy, are going to have to sit for at least a year, maybe two, before we find out what's popping. So you're fixing to see the whole industry act right. Okay? You're going to see the entire industry act right all of a sudden. Things are
Yeah.
going
Right.
to all of a sudden change in the industry.
Hmm.
Okay?
Well,
Because
we
they
saw.
want to cover
Remember
their backs.
what we didn't. Remember we saw. There's like. Well, I can only remember one, but there's a
Mm-hmm.
few CEOs who've been stepping down. Like I don't really care about the business ones. I don't know the story there, but like
Mhm.
70, like Kevin Lyles.
Yep.
Kevin Lyles used to be the head of Def Jam, and then now he just stepped down
Yeah.
from 300, which is I think where the Migos and
Right.
Megan, like a few other big people are now. And he
Yeah.
stepped down, so I was like, that looked very sus. Like
Yeah.
he even if he was planning on stepping down anyway, he
Right.
needed to wait a little couple of weeks when the news broke. Like you don't do this after
Right.
fucking like
Literally.
like
Yeah.
it was just like it could be bad timing, but because of who he is, I'm like sus.
Right. But I think he would rather do it now and
Yeah,
people to be like,
yeah,
than for the actual trial and then
yeah.
he
No,
do
I
it.
agree. Yeah, yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Like I think it was the right timing, to be quite honest. I think that was the best timing for
Yeah,
him.
if he's involved, I mean, I'm just, I'm not a, I'm
He's
not
involved.
saying,
He's involved. Yeah.
I'm not accusing. I'm just saying
I
it's just
am.
sus.
I'm accusing 100% because there's too many people that had to have known what was going on.
Yeah,
And I mean higher up, you know?
yeah, yeah.
So but you know what, Diddy? I'm just glad you're in jail. I am.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And even if you do have a little bit of power still, it's dwindling away,
it's dwindling.
you know? And before you know it, you will be underneath the jail. And you will be taking quite a few people with you. I think you will. And we're going to watch to see every day, every week, it seems to be changing. We know that the numbers of victims have gone up. But I really do hope that this does lead to some good, you know,
Mm, mm,
that all of this was not in vain. And that, you know, now that everybody's eyes are open to what the industry is really like, maybe we can start rebuilding it, you know, and
yeah.
making it something better than what it was.
I think the nature of the music industry has changed already so much because back
Mhm.
in the day, the gatekeepers can control. He was a gatekeeper. He could control who made it or who didn't, or and him
Mhm.
and anybody else in his position.
Mhm.
Now, all you need to do is have a hot song on TikTok or SoundCloud or whatever
True.
else. You don't need you don't need that. They're not needed. So you don't
True.
need that person to be big and be famous.
This
So
is
that
true.
alone has taken probably drastically reduced the power of those people. I mean, don't get me wrong, they still have power
That's true, yeah.
if
But just
somebody's
not
naive
the
enough.
same level.
Not the same. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
no, I agree. I agree. Well, you know what? I don't feel sorry for you, Diddy, at all. I don't
mm-mm.
care what kind of jail you're in. Okay, I don't care if you're secluded and you're not eating your caviar. I really don't give a shit. I hope you stay in the jail. I hope you stay underneath the jail. And I hope that you never have the opportunity to hurt anybody ever again. And all of the people that were complacent, I hope you shit bricks for the next 2 years because
No, yeah.
guess what? Your time is coming too. And with all that said, we do hope that your hearts and minds were activated on this week's show. So, whether you lead with your heart or your mind, please stay passionate and thoughtful. And we'll talk to y'all real soon. Bye.
Bye.